Are you looking for a new, exciting, adventurous book you'll never forget? Well, hi guys, I'm giving you a review of 100 Cupboards, The Door Before by N.D. Wilson. To start off, know that there will be a spoiler-free review and following a spoiler section. So if you haven't read the book, be safe and don't listen to the spoiler section. 100 Cupboards, The Door Before is a prequel to N.D. Wilson's 100 Cupboards series. This prequel can be a standalone, or it can be read before or after the original series. It also ties into another one of N.D. Wilson's series, The Ashtown Burials. 100 Cupboards, The Door Before follows the life of Hyacinth Smith, a young girl who lives on the road with her family and has unique talents. They move into a house with a distant relative who is building doors to different worlds, creating a catastrophic predicament where Hyacinth and her brother Lawrence are trying to escape Niminin, an evil, undying queen, with the help of two twin brothers from one of these different worlds while running from the organization her parents worked for. It has high stakes and lovable characters. It follows characters in the original series that you don't see much of but want to know more about. These characters are well built and seem alive with the layers of lovable energy N.D. Wilson brings to them. And for fans of this series, you'll find more than one Easter egg in this treasure box. My one regret reading it was it made me want to keep reading more of it and discover more about these characters and their lives. The way the author built upon already known figures and worlds, giving us a glimpse of the past, was brilliant. The entire time reading it, I felt like I was being pulled into a new world. If you choose to read this book before or after the original series, it works either way. I read it after and thoroughly enjoyed finding out more about these characters I already knew. N.D. Wilson truly went all out with flawless world building and character development. If you're looking for a good book, you've definitely found it, and for fans of N.D. Wilson, you'll love it even more. If you haven't read it, you should, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Spoiler warning. From here on out, there will be a couple of spoilers. So if you haven't read 100 Cupboards, The Door Before, don't listen to this. There will also be a few spoilers to the 100 Cupboards original series, mainly the second one. So if you have read those or you just don't care, continue. So just a quick recap, 100 Cupboards, The Door Before takes place a while before the 100 Cupboards original series. It follows Hyacinth Smith, who is Henry's mom, and how she meets the Westmore twins, Mordecai and Caleb. Hyacinth's parents work for an organization that contain people with magical or peculiar abilities. Her parents hide her because she can make plans go incredibly fast, and worry this may lead to the organization locking her up. Her family moves into an old family farm in California, but find that Granley Quarles, an old relative, is also living there. They discover she's using lightning wood to create doors to other worlds. While doing this, she's allowed monsters and two boys to escape through the doors. Hyacinth finds the boys and hears the story of how they came there, and how they are now in pursuit of Niminin, Witch Queen of Endor, while likewise she hunts them. Her siblings and parents go off to the organization, leaving Hyacinth and her younger brother Lawrence with Granley. That night, Granley opens a door, allowing Niminin to enter the world. Hyacinth and Lawrence escape with the help of Caleb and Mordecai. While escaping, Hyacinth accidentally opens a door to a different world. They travel through multiple worlds and even find her parents, revealing Hyacinth's gifts to the organization. While Niminin looks for them and uses all the doors Granley has made to open thousands of doors, resulting in a battle between her and the organization. In the end, Mordecai, Caleb, Hyacinth, and a Farron Kibbs trap the queen in a prison, which she cannot escape from. Hyacinth has to say goodbye to her family and goes to live with the Westmores since the organization is trying to hunt her. There it ends, setting up the first 100 Cupboards book perfectly. There are so many reasons why I adore this book. First off, we get to see so much of the characters we didn't see a ton of in the originals, but we also got to see the history behind the storyline that was hinted at but was never made clear. There is a ton of exciting Easter eggs that were surprising to find as well. When you read 100 Cupboards, the originals, you're brought to a new world where you meet the Green Men and you see what they can do, and the author expanded on that even more in this prequel. I think that's one of the things I loved most about this book. It goes deeper and further into the worlds and characters while staying true to who they are. We meet Mordecai, Caleb, and Hyacinth in the original 100 Cupboards book series, and we hear about their story. We know they had a big part in stopping Nimmonine, and we know about the Smiths and Rupert Graves. But for me, reading when Hyacinth meets Mordecai and Caleb for the first time, it was so exciting, my heart was racing inside of me, which was just one of many moments that I had reading this book. Andy Wilson did a really good job expanding on their stories, where we see these kind of side characters in the originals, where we know they're important but don't really get to know them a ton. As for instance, Caleb, who in my opinion had it worst out of all of them throughout the series. His family is dead, Frank disappeared who knows when, he's trying to take care of his injured younger brother who is a green man and much more powerful than him, and he's fighting off monsters with a bow and arrow. We also know that from the originals, Mordecai eventually also disappears, leaving Caleb alone to run and take care of a kingdom and trying to provide for Mordecai's family. So learning about this past and how he dealt with the pressure was so engaging. Furthermore, we learn about Mordecai Westmore, who was almost this legend in the original series and the father of Henry. We get to see how he was as a child, his past, and the extent of his abilities, how he has to carry this burden, and how he's matured as a character while following his relationship with Hyacinth, who is possibly the least seen character in the original series. In fact, I'm pretty sure we don't even know she was from our world in the original series, so that already extends on her character. Well, also we got to see more of who she was, her family, what she could do, and how she ended up in that world, including this wild adventure she goes on and expanding on that unseen character, where at the end of the book you feel like you really know this person. We also see more things that the originals touched on, including Nimmonine and others like the Farron and their connection to the Green Men, and of course the Regget Island. For me, finding out that the author had put the Reggets in the prequel was genius, because I believe in the originals they say finding a Regget is difficult and rare, so I wonder how his parents came into possession of one. So adding them into the story was a clever trick to knowing where and how to find them. Plus, I think in the end, Hyacinth has one as a pet, which could be the very one that goes after Henry in the original series. Interestingly, in this world the author has created, he takes something we know usually concerning some magical aspects or race and puts a twist on it, as with the Farron and others. One of the greatest twists was making the organization a sort of antagonist, who we want to despise for tearing Hyacinth away from her family. Another thing that Andy Wilson did exceptionally well was how he tied it into not only the 100 Cupboards series, but also into another one of his series. We're able to see the past about some of these characters that we don't get to know that well in the originals, which was perfect, because what we can do now is we can read each series, 100 Cupboards and the Ashtown Burials, separately and enjoy them. And then he made this book, where these two worlds are put together, expanding upon their stories, worlds, and the characters' depth in an incredible way. Overall, Andy Wilson did an incredible job expanding on his world while sticking true to what he had already designed. And while not answering all our questions and possibly giving us more, he helped us greater understand the world and beloved characters he'd given us. This book is really good, and as for the order of reading it, there's really no wrong. You can read it as a standalone or before or after the series. I read it after, and it was so much fun finding all these hints and clues, but at the same time, you could have that same experience if you read it before. These characters are so well made, and the world building is incredibly done, so if you haven't read it, read it. And if you haven't read the originals, do it, because they're amazing. Andy Wilson gave us a whole new world and said, "Here, enjoy." So if you're interested, you can buy it on Amazon or check it out at your public library. I hope you enjoy them as much as I have and have fun reading.